Welcome to Bandwidth and Banter, where we broke through it already before we even went live. Oh, Chris, it was partly her breaking herself, too. It was your own joke.
Sometimes it was your reaction. Not me.
Hello, all you lovely people. Welcome to another amazing episode of Bandwidth and Banter. I think this is episode 93?
93.
Wow. Fan-freaking-tastic. My co-host, Druid IRL there. Just the most amazing ray of sunshine. I always love being here with you, doing this and meeting all the amazing folks that we get to meet with. In case I don't say it often enough, Druid, your friendship and partnership in this mean the world to me. And I really...
Don't do that. You're going to nope. I love you too.
Sorry, I'm choking up a little bit too. All right, I guess we better get back on topic. Otherwise, we'll both be bawling. So last time we had was last Friday, we had Valora Plays on. My gosh.
Amazing.
Such a talented and knowledgeable person. I just loved picking her brain about about Twitch in general. She really knows her stuff.
Yeah.
For you guys who have not checked out Valora Plays, she's also hilarious and adorable too. So
you could literally watch me fall in love with her as the stream goes on. I think you could literally just, it's amazing. So
I would say that's 100% true. Yep. Speaking of people that it's easy to fall for, the person we have on today is another one of the amazing Mighty Mango Mates. And I'm in love with all of those folks. And this particular streamer is also, I know I'm going to fall for him too, just because he and I have some really cool stuff in common, which you will see in the interview today. And I'm talking of none other than...
FrontStreetFella.
Yeah, so her mic cut her out a little bit, so I'm going to say that again. FrontStreetFella.
I'm sorry.
No, it's not your fault.
I was excited.
It's your voice and the mic. It's like, we need to work on that. I keep telling you that we're going to get together and set up a
you know what? I'll put it on the agenda. Let me do it right now.
All about it, yeah. Anyway, we've introduced him, and now we actually have to bring him on. Everybody, FrontStreetFella, hello.
Huh.
That was a great intro. I see what he did there.
I am FrontStreetFella.
So
I enjoy it. Oh, sorry.
No, I was just going to say, please reintroduce yourself, and which is what you were already doing, and tell us something about your stream that you want to highlight.
I'm Fronty. I enjoy playing horror games, and I really want to get back into playing the RPG stuff because it's like a classic from back in the day. So I hope to get back into that very soon.
Right on. Very cool.
Yeah.
Excellent. So let's just jump straight into the questions, because we have lots of them today, and we really want to pick your brain clean, sir.
Absolutely.
Druid, take it away, please.
Fronty, please share a boring fact about yourself.
Boring fact. Oh gosh. I mean, what is there to say? I'm just so interesting.
Facts.
I actually started a little figurine and collectibles collection.
Ooh.
When I started my job at the collectible shop. Cool. Actually I don't know if this one's boring, but I got this little Cubone the other day at work, and I was super happy with him.
I love it.
Oh, that's awesome. Awesome. That's both interesting and boring at the same time, which is exactly what we love of that question.
Perfect. Yes.
So on that note of interesting, just interesting, how did you pick your Twitch name, and what was the inspiration?
So back when I was in high school, I was in the audition choir for the chorus class. And we would often do like a guys group. So we would often joke, we're a boy band. We're basically the Backstreet Boys. And then somebody just goes, yeah, we're the FrontStreetFellas. And I'm like, oh, that's good. Write that down. So when it came time to pick a Twitch name, I was just like, why not? FrontStreetFella has a nice ring to it,
It really does.
Wow. It takes on a whole new light now, buddy. We need to see you dancing sexy on a stage now. That's perfect.
Shimmy.
Hit him with the two-step.
What D&D class do you consider yourself to be in real life?
I think currently I'd be a little bit of a barbarian just because I do get a little angry from time to time, a little angry and feisty. I think if I was to like choose like my ideal class, I'd want to be like a cleric, just because they're so versatile, and especially in 5th edition. But like you need a healer, got you. Damage dealer, I got you. Need somebody to take hits, I got you. I just want to be that kind of versatile, well-rounded kind of person.
Yeah.
Very cool.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. All right. So getting into the questions that I'm super excited about personally, and I know a lot of the folks in the audience are as well. Let's kick it off with a really interesting one. Why is Mob Psycho your favorite anime? And I am curious if you have watched Dan 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 yet.
I have seen Dan Dan Dan. I actually just watched the newest episode yesterday. I have been enjoying the heck out of it. As for Mob Psycho, I think the best way to say it is like it's One Punch Man, but if it had a bigger heart, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Obviously, you got the comedy, you got the cool fights, but like the emotion, like the emotional weight and the drama, the heart, like the sincerity in there is it's just so good. I find it to be such an appealing story to me personally.
I concur. I've watched every episode, and when I found it for the first time, it had been a while. It had already been out for a while, but when I watched it, I binged it. It's so good. Such an interesting character.
I caught it right before season 3 came out, so I was like,
I love
season 2, and I'm like,
right. I love anime where they have a character that's just they do their best to be the best person that they can be, and that's what it embodies.
I can definitely respect that, right?
Yeah. The reason I threw in the part about the Dan, it's hard for me to say that for some reason.
You're good. Yeah,
I just started watching that, and its art style and kind of wild flavor and theme kind of reminds me of Mob Psycho. I almost wonder if the same creative people are making it.
So the animators are certainly different because the studio is different. Funny enough, have you seen Chainsaw Man?
Yes, I love Chainsaw Man. So good.
I'm pretty sure the guy who wrote Dan 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 helped work on as like an editor or something, or like a behind the scenes guy on Chainsaw Man. You can definitely see like the style similarities.
Sure. Cool.
I have nothing to.
No, it's all right.
This conversation. I wish I did, but talk to me about true crime. I'm on it. If you're introducing anime to somebody for the first time, which one would you recommend and why?
Okay. I think so. There would be like 2 that I would start with. Depending on the person, it would be either order. I think Demon Slayer is a good intro one, just because it's fairly simple to digest.
Yeah, that's a nice choice.
You get like the emotional weight behind it.
Right.
But then the other one is a little more like complex in themes. I think Full Metal Alchemist, specifically Brotherhood, a lot of the time would be a good one. One, the English dub, immaculate. So if the idea of just reading an entire show is daunting, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
Yep.
Great dub. Throw that on. The themes, the story, all great. So, depending on which one you think would be better for.
Yeah, I think it's I agree 100%. Like, I think in some ways it might matter sort of if you know them well enough, or maybe ask some questions of what sort of content they consume. Like, for example, if they're really into horror, then Blood might be, Blood Plus might be a good one to pick as a first way in, segue in. If they're really, but for generally like fantasy sci-fi stuff, I agree. Like Demon Slayer is a perfect one because you get all of the highlights of anime, right? You get, like you said, you get the emotional story, but you also get the cuteness and the comedy, and it has a lot of the anime tropes, but it doesn't overdo them. And well thought out choice. Interestingly enough, my first introduction to truly get into anime was X, the dubbed version. And a lot of people haven't necessarily watched it. I loved it because of how abstract it was, but it's perfect for me. I love abstract. I love philosophy. So it really kind of blew my socks off. And also happens to be one of the actors, or one of the characters was voiced by none other than Critical Role's, what's his nuts guy?
Matt Mercer?
Yeah, Matt Mercer. So one of his big anime roles was that one, one of his big first ones from the past. So yeah, well done. What?
I will say I have seen Full Metal Alchemist, not Brotherhood, but the other one.
The entire series?
I think so.
Nice.
Whenever it was on TV, there's no way to guarantee. That's I look back and I don't know if I've seen the whole series because it was on TV and I just caught whatever episode was on.
Crunchyroll is a thing of beauty. I love Crunchyroll so much.
It really is.
So if you ever watched an anime from your youth and you wanted to go back and catch episodes that you didn't catch before, you can always binge watch on Crunchyroll. And I agree, both the Full Metal Alchemist and Brotherhood were amazing, fantastic.
Very good, very good.
All right, last anime question, except I will probably have more in the open Q&A later. If you could only listen to one anime opening intro for the rest of your life, which one would it be? I want to answer this too when he's done, but I want to hear what he has to say.
I gotta pull up my Spotify. My anime
He's pulling up his Spotify.
I know one anime intro song too.
You do?
Oh, this is so hard.
It's because of my husband. He put 3 of the same song on a playlist that are different versions because he likes them for different reasons.
Oh, that's awesome.
Just saying. And
that.
then he's like, you have to listen to these with me. So I sat there like a good wife and listened to all 3 of them while he told me his favorite things about each one. I support.
Maybe Good Morning World from Dr. Stone. I love that song.
Oh, Dr. Stone was another great anime. Heck yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Isn't
I got eps on that one.
That would be the one you'd want to listen to the rest of your life?
I don't know. I'm a creature of variety, so I don't know if I could do it for my whole life, but if I needed to listen to an anime song, I could probably turn on Good Morning World and be like, all right, cool. And switch back to another non-anime song, you know?
Uh-huh. Well, Drew had obviously shared with us that she knows some anime music that one anime song. So that's your anime song. All right. For me, it'd be a hard toss-up between the main theme to X, because it is one of the most epic musical scores you've ever heard, not just in anime, but in anything. It's really, when you hear it, you're like, wow, I feel like I've heard this before, even if you haven't heard it. It's one of those kinds of mathematical musical rhythms that sticks in your soul. And then another one would be the it fell right out of my head. Well, we'll come back to it later. Let's move on with the rest of the questions for.
It's your turn.
It is?
Mm-hmm.
If you could only listen, I just did the song one.
Sorry. You know what? Those blended together for me. Just saying.
It's all right. You had me going there. She faked me out.
Are you paying attention? I'm gushing over chat. They're so cute. What drew you to Twitch? It's been 2 years since you started streaming, right? So
Yeah.
what was the driving force for getting you on Twitch?
So I think for I started viewing around 2020, which I feel like is going to be a common story. The pandemic had just really started taking off, and I was like, well, I can't go out, can't go do cool stuff. I got to interact with somebody, so I hopped on Twitch, and I found some smaller communities, joined them, and that led to meeting all of y'all. So I'm pleased as can be.
I love it. Oh, Twitch!
What a wonderful resource.
Oh.
I got to meet y'all. So
Uh-oh.
other than that, I think it was. I think it was the social aspect that really drew me in the end, though. So
Yeah.
I used to game a lot, but that wasn't the main driving force, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. Just that social interaction for sure.
So what did family and friends think when you told them you planned on streaming?
My brothers were like, "Oh, rad! That seems like
That's
such a cool
cool.
thing." And then my mom and dad were like, "I don't get it."
I don't get it.
My mom was like, "Wait, you can make money from this? How? Why?" So I broke that down. I'm like, she's like, "Oh, okay. Can I follow and stuff?" I'm like, "If you want to."
That's awesome. That's awesome. And that's we hear that a lot. Not always. Sometimes we have some folks who you know, the parents are totally get it and hip and getting into it. But we do hear a lot that the parents of streamers are like, I don't get it.
Yep. Absolutely. What struggles did you deal with when you first started streaming?
A lot of tech issues. Because when I first started, I didn't even have an Ethernet cord at the time, so we were kind of just hanging on for dear life.
Oh no!
Yeah. For like interaction, I had already built up a good like collection of friends, so I had already basically skipped the part where you find a community.
Oh,
through streaming. So
right on. That's fortunate and lucky.
yeah.
So on that note, what tips can you share with future streamers?
Get an Ethernet cord. In all seriousness, I think obviously just stick to it. It's a marathon, not a race.
Yeah, true.
All that good stuff. I actually learned this when at TwitchCon. Pay attention to like the vibe of your chat. Like if chat tends to have this running joke, make an emote out of it. You know, give them stuff to work with. You know.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Really good at that.
I love running with the joke, dude. I love running with the joke. It's so fun.
Yeah.
What do you enjoy most about streaming?
For me, I think gaming has always been a social activity, especially because I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, but I'm a triplet, so I got two brothers. So growing up, we'd always we'd make like a thing of playing on like the Wii, or like once we got an Xbox, we'd make a thing of playing on the Xbox 360. So like it was always nice to be surrounded by either chat or my brothers, and me like, you see that? That was so cool.
Yeah, that shared experience.
Exactly, a shared experience between people you enjoy the company of.
Gotcha. So
yep.
What would you say your favorite thing and the least favorite thing that you have streamed?
Favorite thing? I think I'm a little biased because when I first started streaming, the first one I did was Resident Evil 7, which I love that game to death. I absolutely adore that game. Least favorite thing is a harder question because a friend recommended this one to me, and I don't want to be like, yeah, I just don't. But I think it was I think we started Danganronpa. It wasn't for me, especially on stream. I feel like if I was in a call, I'd be like, this is fun, but on stream, I just don't think it's a game for me in that instance.
Understandable.
Totally
yeah, I mean, we can't all like the same thing. It'd be a really boring world if we did.
Yeah. I wouldn't be introduced to all this cool stuff if that was the case.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
What did you think of your first TwitchCon experience? Tell us about TwitchCon. Tell us about it.
It was so much fun. Obviously, meeting all the community members that ended up going, absolute blast.
Yeah.
Obviously, I've thought of these folks as my friends for quite a while, so just to be able to meet them in person, it's just a wonderful experience. Learning about like resources, creative tips, all that stuff from the panels, super helpful. I hope to implement stuff like that soon. Obviously, The food, impeccable.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. What was the favorite thing you ate there?
One day we had like a little breakfast burrito. It was some like mezcal thing where they put like carne asada fries like in a burrito,
Ooh.
and they gave us this sauce. So people came over to the hotel and just kind of ate. This is real good. I
Yeah.
don't know. It was very tasty. I loved it.
Oh man.
That does sound delicious.
I'm a food driven individual.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Um.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, this is
Well,
a fun one. Which video game has the most meaning or sentimental value for you?
I'm gonna say one that you probably haven't got yet. The Legend of Zelda Spirit Tracks for the Nintendo DS.
Okay, why?
That was my first video game that I got at Christmas. It was. I love that game to death. It's got its flaws for sure, but it's such a
Yeah.
magical ride, especially for like a kid.
Oh yeah.
Hmm.
Beautiful. Oh, those DS games.
They're
Oh
so
my,
good. I miss the handheld magic and the DS.
you know, it's been so long. I was actually thinking about DSs the other day, and I'm just like, man, there were some good games for DS.
Oh yeah, Nintendogs. Where my Nintendogs homies at?
Yep. Yes.
See, this is the part where I get to kind of listen because I don't know what you guys are talking about. Like she doesn't get anime, but I
we take
never
turns.
played the only console or not handheld. The only handheld that I ever played with was as a kid. It was this little football game. It's all it was. They called it football.
The little like black and white one that didn't have a backlight.
Yeah, well, I think it wasn't even that advanced. Like, and all you had to do was just basically move your guy.
Yeah.
Dot.
I had those kinds.
So
as well.
old. That was like the only handheld that I think I've ever experienced. But
What a treat trying to play that in the dark on a road trip. You're just like waiting for the next street light to pass. You're like, oh,
Yep.
it's a
My
magical
Game Boy-
thing that this generation won't get.
My Game Boy Color games.
Mhm.
You know.
Incredible.
Okay. If you could be in any musical, which one would it be and why?
Hmm. So the first musical I went to was Wicked. I could definitely see myself partaking in that because that's just such a fun one.
Mm-hmm.
We went to Broadway a few years ago, and we saw Kinky Boots and Aladdin. I think it'd have to be between Wicked and Kinky Boots because they're so fun.
Yeah. Can I share a quick story
sure.
Mhm.
about musicals? When I was little, you know how kids have repeat movies that they watch
Yeah.
over and over and over again, and then their parents hate it and want to burn it the second that you're done with it?
Yeah. Mine was the Man with the Golden Gun, the James Bond movie. But anyway, go on.
Mine was the musical Cats on the
Really? That doesn't
OG.
that surprises
The
me
OG,
about
yeah.
you, honestly, Druid. And I thought you could not ever surprise me.
So I would watch that movie all day, every day, and I would pretend to be a cat. So that was the one. That was the.
That last part tracks.
I talked about how I used to be a cat when I was younger, so that's not
Druid,
anything new.
confirmed. Druid. She even turned herself into a cat.
Okay, and it. You know, I think I could still sing along to every single song, and I haven't listened to it.
That's dedication to the musical right there.
It is so yeah. So
I get it.
you know, so I just want to. I also have a little soft spot in my heart for musicals. I really do.
Yes.
I really do.
So the next question you literally already answered, but I'll sort of add on to it then. So the next question was going to be, what was your first musical you saw? But as you shared, was that in person live or was that okay, cool. How many? Let's change it up then. How many musicals have you seen live?
I think I want to say it was just the three. It was Wicked, then Kinky Boots, then Aladdin. The last two we went to Broadway like twice on that New York trip. But they were all good. Each had their own strengths. And
Yeah.
I enjoyed them.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. Did you so you were also in drama, you said, or what?
I was in choir.
Choir.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love it. I hung out with all the choir kids and drama kids, but I was just like, I'm just gonna hang out in the background because you guys are cool. What is your favorite thing and your least favorite thing about being a triplet?
My favorite thing is that I always have someone to talk to.
Oh,
my least favorite thing is talking to them. If that makes sense. Obviously, you always, if you need like somebody to talk to, they're there. But just because you're so close all the time, talking to them, you're just like,
Yeah. Yep.
I'm sure people with siblings and here can understand.
Yes. Yes.
All right.
I have what's called an Irish twin, which my brother and I are only 17 months apart. So we basically grew up together. Like our whole conscious life was with each other. So I get it. Yeah. Yeah. But at least not the twin thing or triplet thing. Imagine three of me. Oh, Lordy.
Yeah. God help us all. So here's a fun one. If you could be any fictional character, which one would you choose and why?
That is a good question. Maybe we'll go back to Mob Psycho. Maybe I'd be Reagan.
Who?
Just because Reagan from Mob Psycho, the businessman.
Mm-hmm.
I think one, just because he has such an influence on Mob, and he does his best to help people, but even though he does stumble, but he does his best, and he's very important to those around him. I think that's a good goal to achieve.
Well, and you just hit on one of the other cool things about that anime, besides the fact that the protagonist is tries to be a good person. There are people around him that are like really well developed characters because like you said, he's a person who tries to be a decent mentor to him, and but sometimes he stumbles just like a real person would. He makes mistakes, and that's actually a lesson that we need to learn from our mentors. That there is no such thing as perfection, and so yeah.
Only lessons.
Mm-hmm.
What is the weirdest sleeping dream you've had that you're willing to share?
It's funny. I don't remember a ton of my dreams. I don't know if I have weird ones that I remember. I do have a spooky one though, which might coincide with October.
It is October, spooky season.
Perfect.
This one, it's got to be a dream, right? I woke up and I got scared for whatever reason, so I went to my parents' room and I'm like jangling on this is when I'm young, so they have like the kid lock on the doorknob.
Yep. Yeah.
So you can't get in. And I was like jangling. I'm like, oh, and I hear my dad snoring in the den, and I go like, oh, there's Dad, and then I hear Dad snoring in his bedroom. I'm like, one of these isn't my dad's. I'm like, and I like force it open. I push the door and then I jump in there, and then that was the end of that dream. I was like,
oh wow,
I was petrified. I like clearly one of these. I can't have two dads in the same house. not in my situation. I'm like, nah, dude, no. I'm freaked out.
That definitely would be kind of scary, for sure.
No. Yeah, I don't never remember any of my dreams. It's a Wendigo. Oh, don't bring those spooky cryptids, man.
Cryptids are freaky. There used to be again off topic. I'm sorry, but there was a show on Animal Planet. I forget what it was called, but it was like a show about cryptids, and I'm like, these aren't actually animals, but boy, am I invested.
Listen, Listen, Bigfoot is a part of my culture here in Washington State. Okay?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, sometimes I forget, like, how into Bigfoot we are. And then until somebody's just like, wait, really? And I'm like, half of their logos in town have Bigfoot on it. Like, we are invested.
Y'all are more invested in Bigfoot than Bigfoot's invested in Bigfoot.
So, I love, anyways, off
That's
topic.
No, that's okay. That's what we're here. We're here to have a conversation with Fronty and get to know him a little bit better. So, Front Street Fella, if you could have any superpower, which one would you choose and why?
Shape-shifting. Easy.
Ooh.
That's be like anything you want to be.
Yeah.
Even like, especially I think about Halloween, you could just like turn into an amorphous blob of shapes and kind of like wiggle around. That'd be like outside someone's window, dude. That'd be so spooky.
Yeah. and you can get in places you wouldn't normally because you could just slide under the door.
I can slither
through
in.
A keyhole.
It'd be so good.
That is amazing. I love that. I love how like you were so ready for that.
That's been my answer for a couple of years now. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so good. I love it so much. All right, we are on the last of our main questions before we open up the floor to Q&A, which we already have gathered a bunch of questions. You guys are the best. Mm-hmm. This is one of those things where it's an either or. You get to pick one or the other. The other one disappears from existence. If you choose the other, it's one of those. Yeah. Okay. Cheese or salsa?
I think I would have to keep cheese personally, just because cheese is so versatile. Mm-hmm. I think personally, like the amount of stuff I use salsa in, like chips, maybe tacos, burritos. Mm-hmm. But cheese, you can do so much with cheese. To lose cheese would be like an absolute travesty.
I get that.
I go to my fridge for a slice of cheese. I don't go to my fridge for salsa.
Yeah, bowl of salsa
on a regular basis, So me personally,
all of those are logical arguments, and I agree with them as from a logical standpoint. Interestingly enough, I actually have made that choice because I try and avoid dairy, and so I had to give up cheese to avoid dairy. And so I had to make that choice of cheese or salsa. Although, to be honest with you, lately I've been breaking it a little bit from time to time with a little bit of cheese. and luckily nowadays there's a pretty darn good fake cheese. Daya makes a decent fake cheese, and Viola makes a decent fake cheese. Like you can actually make nachos and burritos with them, and you don't even know that it's not real cheese. So kind of cool. Probably not. Wouldn't be the best queso though. Like so. But yeah. Yeah. All right. So now Druid is going to share with everybody, if she hasn't already, all your linkage. Everyone, please go over and drop follows and subs and biddies for the amazing Front Street Fella, so that we can lift him up, because that's what we're here to do, to make sure that he gets seen and heard, and we all know about him. So we have tons more questions. Before we get into them, though, of the ones that people have shared, I want to add. So I thought of that other song that I would love to hear as my. If I had to pick one, it would be really tough between X and the song "I'll Be Your Contradiction," which is the opening song to High School. God of High School. There's something about that song that just inspires the shit out of me. I love it so much. And but so back to that topic, since it's anime related. Can you share with us like your favorite kind of horror themed anime? It doesn't necessarily have to be like it's meant to be scary, but it could have horror theme, like Helsing or D or something like that.
Yeah, No Foreign actually asked that question in chat earlier.
Oh, we did. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Do you, No Foreign asked question, do you have a favorite horror film or anime?
So for anime, I feel like a lot of like the direct horror adaptations in anime are just like not as good as like a manga, like a horror manga would be.
Right.
Like even with like Junji Ito, a lot of the anime adaptations aren't as good. I think Promise Neverland is pretty good for like suspense.
Promise Neverland was, yeah, I get that one. That was very creepy, intense.
I think for movie, I actually saw Hereditary a few years back, and I was like,
oh god, that movie fucked my brain up. Sorry.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
It's good. It's good.
That movie was like, it's funny. I feel like the more scary movies you watch, the more in scary games you play, the more desensitized you start to become to it. And so like I played Outlast a few years ago before I ever started streaming, and I couldn't even finish it. I got like a quarter way through the game. And now I've been playing it on stream and we're way far into it. I feel like nowadays I'm not nearly as scared by stuff as I used to be. But that movie Hereditary, you know, I give that some credit as to desensitizing me to it because of how scary it was.
Yeah.
I think you're up next, Druid.
Yeah. No Foreign asks, what game would you eventually like to stream?
2 remake.
Say again?
Came out. The Silent Hill 2 remake that just came out. I've been so excited for this.
Yeah. That's the kind of spooky that I can't do. I'm not a big fan of. I like the genre that I like is like Senua's Sacrifice, Senua's Saga, Bramble the Mountain King, where it's like a little bit more suspenseful. There's no really jump scares. It has some like crazy themes and, you know, whatever. That's more of my speed, like the psychological.
Yeah.
I don't like the jump scare and fog and just like backroomsy, creepy, monstery kind of stuff. I have a hard time with that.
A lot of the subtext for that game is especially psychological, which I think is great.
Yeah. On that note, you were saying earlier that Resident Evil 7 is one of your is a favorite game of yours. I like that one. That game was very horrific for me. I like maybe it's because it's the hillbilly horror, right? And something about that kind of horror really messes with my head. So I couldn't I started to play it on stream, and maybe it was there were 2 reasons I stopped playing it on stream. One, it was just like very intense and kind of it had this kind of vile violence, you know what I mean? And then, but 100%. Also because of the language, it was very strong. But like I loved Resident Evil 8. I loved Village. And I want to go back and give 7 another chance, and I know I will. It may not be on stream, but since I own it, I will definitely go back to it. I suspect I didn't get into it far enough to really give it enough of a chance. And just hearing you say that that's one of your favorite games makes me want to. I appreciate the inspiration. Next question. So what are the odds of a triplet stream? And if so, when might that happen?
I wouldn't be opposed to it. 2 of us have PCs. The other one would have to get a PC. I think that would be the qualifier.
Did I share that was Kozik and Chili that asked that?
He did not.
I did not. Sorry. Kozik and Chili asked that.
I was about to be like, where are you pulling that question from? Because he didn't say who it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would just be the third one has to get a PC. That would be the qualifier. We could easily get like a multiplayer game. I think
it would be hilarious and amazing. Heck, you could like pre-record yourself and fake everybody out. No one would know.
I do all the voices.
Yeah, exactly.
Just say 3 fronts in the corner.
That's amazing. Epps asks, question, can you read your brother's mind?
Absolutely not. There are times when I wish I could, and there are times where I absolutely don't want to be anywhere near their mind.
I think we all feel that.
I wish I knew what you were thinking so I could help you. And sometimes I was just like,
I'm not touching that with 10-foot pole.
I don't want to tempt that.
Oh no!
I feel like that's the case for all human beings. It's
yeah, that's fair.
But you know, Cozy Conchili asks, the time has come. What's one piece of life advice that you would give?
If you find yourself acting in a way that you don't want to, it's okay to seek like help. So I'm a big fan of cognitive behavioral therapy. I want to get back into that. Is because a lot of the time I don't act as I think I should. And it's just super helpful. It like will carve new neural pathways. It helps to do that in the brain. Because a lot of behavior is just like habit, pattern.
Yeah.
If you find yourself acting in a way you don't think befits you, one, it's okay to seek help for that, and two, have someone hold you accountable. Two, a lot of times just act opposite. Like consciously make yourself act the opposite. If you want to scream, whisper. You know, it's something
If you're feeling timid, scream. That's actually incredible advice. And in fact, I don't know if you can find the time, because I know we all, as streamers and content consumers, it's hard to find time. But I've been playing on my stream a game, a new game that came out called Vampire Therapist, and it uses actual cognitive behavioral therapy in the story. It's a narrative. And it's really just that you're having conversations with people, and the game mechanics are you try and, in their conversation, you try and pick out which type of cognitive behavioral therapy idiom it is, right? And it's really an interesting gameplay. I need to play it again. I'll probably be playing it again next Wednesday night if you have time to check it out. Or if you just want to pick up the game on Steam, it's really inexpensive. We had a lot of fun with it, and I think you'll like it a lot.
Oh, yeah. It does sound good.
Is it my turn or no? It's your turn.
Pops asks, question, what's something you learned from your community that helped you in your real life? And I would like all of us to answer that, if that's okay.
Sure.
Yeah. I think... It's a lesson I've been learning a lot, but I think my community helped me learn it even more. It's okay to laugh at yourself.
Yep.
Like, I feel like it's healthy to laugh at yourself, especially like if you feel like embarrassed. Oh, well, that was funny, There's no shame in goofing up and then laughing at your mistake, right?
Absolutely.
Basically, you're saying true confidence comes in not taking yourself too seriously.
Yeah. I think that's a great way to put it.
I love it. That is great advice. Your turn now, Druid.
Nope. I said it first. You next, Stormy.
I'm stuck. Something I learned from the community that helped me in my real life. I guess since we're building, not just the Storm Saga Games community, but also the Stormkeep community. It's shown me that there are times where you have to be able to say no, even if you don't want to. A lot of us, it's easy to fall into a habit of trying to please everybody. But if you do that, then you'll just stress yourself out. And you have to be able to delegate. You have to be able to, find moments where, to say, no, I can't do that right now. Druid.
The good one.
What streaming has taught me is all of the things that I thought everybody would despise are all of the things that people are drawn to my stream for. And it's one of those things where this is like one of those hiccups I've always had, because I've always been really loud and obnoxious. I've always never liked the sound of my own voice. And I'm just like, who in their right minds wants to sit and hang out with somebody who could barely hold together a conversation? But at the end of the day, my stream is literally mostly me sitting there talking, being loud and obnoxious, and having half conversations for 5 hours straight because we can never finish one. And it's one of those things where it's just like it's the embracing the parts that make you you.
Mm.
Because that's what people are drawn to, is that the authenticity. And it's
what that
when
nice,
you
unique stuff you have to offer.
yeah, so it's literally just that you just have to be yourself, and people that are gonna vibe with you are gonna actually vibe with you. And it's like and that's across the board. You know, because when you go to work, you put on your work mask. If you go out into public in an uncomfortable spot, you have to put on your I'm uncomfortable mask, and I'm
Right.
just going to do the thing to be able to make it through whatever. But at the end of the day, you know, that's not what people are here for. So,
You know,
yeah.
yeah, you really touched on like at the core, what you're saying is it's kind of about being comfortable in your own skin. Streaming helps
Yeah.
to teach us to like the person that we are and be comfortable in your own skin. And you know, like I've said before, it helps me be the best version of myself.
My spiritual. Oh my God. Hi, Ryan.
All right, Ebbs asks, your Mount Rushmore of anime characters.
I love the stapling, the
That's a hard one because there's so many great characters.
So beautiful.
Right.
Both of you have to answer that,
Hey,
by the
let me
way.
even though I loved and watched the Mob Psycho, what was the main character's name again? Mob, right? No.
Yeah,
Yeah, Mob.
Shigeru.
So I would totally be fine if your answer was like four
The
statues
main
of
cast
Mob,
Mob
right?
Psycho.
All Mob.
4 mobs. Obviously, you got to throw Goku in there. Absolute icon.
Yeah, yeah,
I do think Mob's going to be in there somewhere.
You're like, gotta look it up real quick. Hold on.
I'm looking at my Crunchyroll right now. I'm looking at my watch list.
I mean, I'd have the same problem, like thinking about it. Man.
Beautiful.
Like I don't like. There's some amazing characters that, I consume so much anime that I forget some of their names sometimes, right? I get them jumbled.
There's so many characters. Goku, Mob. I think. I think Kafka from Kaiju number 8, and why not? We'll throw Spike Spiegel in there from Cowboy Bebop.
Oh, that's a good one. I'm trying to think of
4 survivalist 4.
I want to answer this question too, because now it's just the idea of it, the concept of it is so cool to me. Like I can already see a couple of them right off the bat, but now I have to remember the anime and the character, which I don't necessarily remember. I can picture in my head. So there's okay, yeah. I would say
Crunchyroll.
Oh, go ahead. What? So now
I said, quick, pull up the Crunchyroll.
What are yours again? So
Goku.
Yep.
Mob from Mob Psycho. Kafka from Kaiju number 8.
Yeah.
And Spike Spiegel from Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah, Kafka's awesome. Oh man, it's tough now. For me, the first two that come to mind are Jinwoo from Solo Leveling, Sung Jinwoo.
Okay.
And what's his name from Mushoku Tensei? I love Mushoku Tensei. Such a great.
What is his name?
Then
the
from Demon Slayer, the main character. What's his name? He's another one. I love that character because he always tries to be a great person to his friends and to his family members, you know. And then finally, in X, the character, again, I don't remember the character, but the character that was voiced by Matt Mercer. Yeah, I think that would be my Mount Rushmore. But I like yours. Yours, Yours fit from what we've been chatting about. They really suit. Is it my turn or your turn, Druid?
I don't know. Go for it, Stormy.
No Foreign asks, what anime or game world would you like to live in for a day? Oh, that's another one that all three of us should answer. That's a great free. We might have to steal that as a regular question.
There's a couple of these that we're stealing, guys.
Yeah.
Just know. Just know.
I think you could survive Pokemon World for a day. That'd be fun, I think. If it was like my whole life, I'd be like some kind of slice of life.
Heck off, DeMarco.
So, let's see. Anime world, solo leveling. I love tons of anime, and I have lots of favorites. But most recent, I guess solo leveling blew my mind so much. I enjoyed it so much that I literally watched it 3 times. And I've never binge watched an anime that much. I watched it twice on my own, and then the third time was because I made Michelle watch it, or Star Kitty. Whoops, I just doxed her. Of course, she said her name before, and At any rate, yeah, and I was even recently thinking of rewatching it a 4th time dubbed, just so I could watch the dub of it.
Yeah.
And I might actually do that. And I don't know, I just love the concept of it. It's both an isekai anime and not at the same time, which is cool, right? Because technically he didn't die and be reborn in another world, but he sort of did die and was reborn in his own world with some sort of weird tech going on. And it makes, I don't know, it's just a fantastic anime. All right. Anyway, back to it. How about you, Druid? How about a anime or game world you would like to live in?
I could probably survive in Stardew Valley. I have 0 other skills to survive in any of the video games that I like to play. So
true.
Which video game did you say again, Fronty?
If it was a day, I could definitely do Pokemon.
Oh, that's what you said. Yeah.
Yeah, I could manage, I think.
Yeah.
Stardew Valley.
Yeah.
I'd be brave enough to live in the Elder Scrolls universe for a day.
Nope.
A day, maybe.
Yeah.
Nope.
Only
No
somehow-
longer than a day.
Only if I stick to one of the inns.
Yeah. I would still somehow end up in a bar fight and dead somehow. I have too big of a mouth. And, so it would be Stardew Valley for me. Epps asks, would you rather fight a gorilla or a lion? Neither.
That's a good question.
Me.
That's not the question, though, Drew. You got to answer the question.
I think, from what I know of lions, they tend to be a little lazy. Obviously, like if I go head to head with the gorilla, I'm not matching that strength. No way. I feel like I could get a little creative with a lion, though. Like poke his eye or something. I could not fight a gorilla. I don't think I could manage it. I've seen Winston in Overwatch, and no chance.
Yeah.
How about you, Druid? Which one?
I would probably. I don't know. Neither. Because they both suck either way, and I don't want to fight them.
Well, I guess it's all in how you interpret the question. The way I see it is so it starts as a fight. It doesn't mean it has to end as a fight. I would pick gorilla because I feel like there's an off chance that if you behaved in a certain way, you might be able to get him to not want to fight you. Whereas if a lion wants to eat you, like it's going to eat you.
If it's a silverback, you just have to act super submissive. Lions will definitely kill you. But it's just one of those things, like, I just
Yep. I feel you. All right. Tan asks, if you had to stream a choir song, ooh, I love this question. Which song would it be? Why?
I've been on a Shenandoah kick lately. It's a folk song. There's a lot of versions, but I really enjoy Shenandoah. We performed it in choir. I love the composition. Lots of meaning. I live fairly close to the Shenandoah region. So it's a beautiful place. I really enjoy the song. Why not?
Senku. Remind me which anime Senku is.
That's Dr. Stone.
Oh yeah. Senku's awesome. He's one of the most
Great.
realistic anime characters, although not, but still, like really, I love that it's grounded in science and it tries to make kids happy about science, which is what we need more of, So Epps asks, it is my turn, right, Dread? Epps didn't ask that. I'm asking that. Is it your turn or my turn?
It's my turn.
Oh.
Epps asks, question. You are in almost every streamer's chat and beloved by all. What advice can you give to someone trying to fit in a new community?
I think it's a pretty good question.
That's a great question.
Mm-hmm.
I think one thing you got to be conscious of is like the way people interact in chat without you there. Like if you haven't interacted in the chat yet, you gotta observe like how they're interacting, like the vibe.
Mm-hmm.
Then if you can try to build up a little bit of rapport, start with like simple chats, nothing too out there. Or, like don't immediately jump into the banter, especially if the banter is more like risque or something, right? Because then that's gonna be like, oh. So you always got to build up that rapport. Once you join the banter, just be aware of the reactions of those in chat and the streamer.
Mm-hmm.
That's great advice.
And you got that? I think you're all set.
Yeah.
By then, you're already part of the community.
Yeah. Yeah, because you just slowly integrate yourself in. Survivalist. But yeah, it's one of those things like you gotta first of all, you gotta see if you actually get along with the community as a whole.
Yeah, if you vibe with their vibe. Yeah.
Yeah, because you might vibe with the streamer, but you might not vibe with like the chat. Like I have had people say I love you as a streamer, but your chat drives me nuts. It's too much. It's too busy. Or whatever it is. And I'm like, that's okay. That's fine. You're not
100%.
It gets crazy in there. And
there are streamers for everybody, and there are audiences for every streamer, right? And like some people want a really chill, relaxed vibe for their stream. They want a chill stream. Druids is not that. It's a wild party game. And like a good example also is like our D&D stream compared to Insomnia Nights, right? Insomnia Nights is just a wild, chaotic variety show. And I respect the hell out of how he manages that. And ours is more focused on the actual kind of getting into character and the role play and stuff. It's not that one is better than the other. They're just going to attract different audiences, H&J asks a really interesting question. What vocal range would you choose to sing in choir?
I think baritone's always a safe bet. I think tenor 2 could also be an option. So when I was in high school, they had me singing tenor 1, which is typically the highest male voice part. I was not especially comfortable on my voice. So I thought about that a lot back when I was in high school. I think baritone or tenor 2 could be a solid like middle ground where I can go high or low from the bass.
I'm jealous of this next question, Druid, that you get. I like this question.
Survivalist Gaming asks, if you were in a zombie apocalypse, what medieval weapon would you choose to protect yourself?
Mace, I think.
It's a really good question.
Yeah, like I think it just crushes the brain real quick. Easy peasy.
Yep.
I'm close to the same thing. I would pick a Morningstar just because it does both the bashing of a mace and can occasionally also pierce when you're hitting like softer flesh or whatnot. Sounds terrible the way I said that. Ew.
Yeah.
I think for Morningstar you'd have to be careful of the shape of like the spines, just because if they're barbed at all, bonk, and then I can't get it
Yeah.
out. You know.
Yeah.
Well, but the spikes aren't going to be. I guess it depends on the Morningstar. The average Morningstar, the spikes aren't going to stick in enough to get stuck. They're just going to kind of more tear. Ew. Okay, we can change that subject. That's a really good question. Oh, it's a zombie apocalypse. It's okay. You can. All right, never mind. All right.
I would also go with the bonk stick, but I would need something a little like not. A mace might be a little too heavy for me to wield, but I used to be the fourth in line batting in softball, so like I could hit that ball real fucking hard, dude.
Baseball.
So that would be my weapon. Maybe a sword if I could pick a sword, because I could swing it around wildly and then run away.
Yeah.
Because they can't be too heavy. That was my problem with airsoft. If the guns were too heavy, I'd be like, and then I'm gonna go talk to a ref now.
Fronty, I have another anime question for you. Did you watch Solo Leveling?
I have not yet. I've been meaning to.
Oh yeah, when you get a chance, I think you're gonna like it a lot. Well, I don't know for sure. Like, what do you have a favorite kind of genre? It sounds like you watched a lot of different kind of anime. Like, you obviously like fantasy anime. So, do you have a favorite genre?
I think it definitely depends on my mood. Like if I'm feeling unfulfilled in life, I think I'll go for like a slice of life, right? Because I want to see people like live their lives and have fun. I think if I'm content, I'd choose something more like either comedy or action, something more adventurous. I guess it depends like what's happening at any given time, life-wise, I guess.
Do you have an anime guilty pleasure that that like may not necessarily be one of the most popular ones and may even surprise people that you watch, but that you really dig it and occasionally rewatch it, or even if you don't rewatch it, but you just sort of think back on it?
I think back on High School of the Dead a lot. That was a fairly early on into my career, my anime watching career. Obviously, it's become infamous for like the one scene. But I mean, it's a trip. And is it good? No, but it's definitely fun.
It's a fun anime. Yeah, I need to go back and rewatch that one. That's
yeah. Maybe one day. Maybe one day if I'm bedridden and I can't leave and I can't get out of bed, then Fate's just like, I'm gonna put up Crunchyroll and we're gonna watch Jujutsu Kaisen together because I've been talking about it a lot, so you're gonna watch it with me, and I'm just gonna be stuck in bed.
That was another one I binge watched. Yep, Jujutsu Kaisen was amazing. Oh my god, I watched it twice.
Chat, do you have any more questions, chat?
Do you have any? While they're thinking, do you have any questions for us that you'd like to ask?
I'm sure for Druid, I'm sure you've gotten this probably, but do you have a favorite gnome?
I do. This one right here.
This
one? Guy.
Ooh. I kind of been eyeing him in the background. I'm not gonna lie. He stuck out to me.
He's pretty cool.
This was my first gnome. His name is Leopold, and I love him so much. It was one of those things where I literally did a double take when I saw him, and I was like, I don't care what it costs. He's coming home with me. And then my husband was just like, what? And I'm like, his name's Leopold. He's gonna sit right here next to all of my plants. And then of course, my mother caught wind that I like to collect gnomes. So now my room is exploded with gnomes. So
no wonder you and Nomi get along so well.
I love. Can I also share a quick boring fact? I literally have a box of pine cones at my feet right now.
I love that.
Which one did you start collecting first? Wait a minute, this is questions for him. So you said earlier that you collect figurines. Is there anything else that you've collected?
I'm an avid collector
No,
of things.
mainly just figurines. I got some anime ones. I have Gandalf and Aragorn back there somewhere on my shelf. They were the first two that I got actually. I'm big fans of them.
Love it. Really quick, actually.
Mhm.
So your answer for the D&D question seemed like you knew quite a bit. Have you played D&D before?
You mind reader, I was
played
gonna get ready to ask him that. You stole it. Get out of my head.
I played a good bit in high school.
Mm-hmm.
I think I was around the time when obviously like Critical Role was taking off. So
Yeah.
my friend was like, "That looks like fun. Let's do it." I'm like, "Okay."
Yeah.
So we played a couple campaigns. I had a lot of fun. I haven't really had a chance to continue with the D&D as much. So like,
Mm-hmm.
but it's always in the back of my mind, just waiting.
It's always just waiting in the background.
In the back of
I
my
got
mind.
D&D. I have the D&D Beyond. I have characters prepared. We're ready to go. Like
I got my dice over here somewhere.
Any other nerdy hobbies like Magic the Gathering or something else?
Not Magic for sure. I tried that a couple times. It was a lot to wrap my head around.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, couldn't do it.
What other nerdy hobbies do I have? Anime, games. I will hyperfixate on like the lore of characters. I guess that's fairly nerdy.
I love that.
Like, the backgrounds of like what, and then I like dissect like their prior history and how that correlates to like their current behavior. I'm like, how did this lead to this? And I'm like, oh, that coincides with that action that he took in this chapter. I'm like, it's very fun for me.
I love lore hyperfixating so much. It's so good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still listening to Elder Scrolls lore from Fudge Muppet. And
Fudge Muppet's an icon, dude.
Fudge Muppet? Oh my god. Camel Works? Oh my god.
Oh, icon.
Legends.
I wanted to get the blanket, but I was broke at the time.
I know.
That blanket was incredible.
It's incredible. But yeah, we still listen to them to this day, dude. Love the lore.
So it looks like Survivalist we got one more question we can take and start to wrap things up. Survivalist has a question. You want to grab that one, Druid? I think you get the last one.
No, I asked my D&D question. I stole it from you. It's your question.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you. All right then. Uh-oh. Is the stream buffering? Crap. We even rebooted the router this afternoon. That's annoying. Well, we'll just kind of get through this last question and hopefully it won't disconnect. Do you feel like you need to do any sort of extra physical activity before or after a stream to keep yourself from being sore? Interesting question.
That is interesting. I don't think it's like a need to, but I do tend to pace before I go live. Just
Interesting. Yeah, I find afterwards I got to get up and stretch and stuff because
stretching. Yeah, well, yeah, that's a must.
Well, it's time for us to wrap up. Share with us one last thing that you want to share. That a bit of advice.
I think it's important to eat a well-balanced diet so that you always feel your best. Get out there, put yourself out there. You'll find the people that you need to find, and they will appreciate you for who you are.
Well said.
Absolutely.
Well said.
That is beautiful. I love
wonderful.
it.
FrontStreetFella, thank you. It's been an honor and a treat. And if you ever want to DM me, hit me up. I'll add you as a friend in DM if we haven't already. And I would totally love to chat anime with you anytime.
Thank you very much.
You betcha. Thanks for coming on the show. It's been an honor to have you. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right. Wow. Just an amazingly warm, sweet human being. Can't wait to catch more of his content. And I look forward to the day that I can make it out to TwitchCon and meet he and the rest of the Mighty Mango mates.
I know.
Hopefully we can time it in such a way that Stormkeep can be there too, or at least all the, us here in the U.S. There's
No, we're going to ship out BT. He has no choice. Drag him to the U.S.
Yes.
Kicking and screaming.
Everyone, please go support FrontStreetFella, an amazing streamer. And thank you for checking out our show today. I'm jumping ahead of myself, though.
You are.
Next week we have...
It is the return.
Mm-hmm. It's so perfect. Like we had Fronty on today. Actually, this is going to be an amazing next 3 weeks, guys, because we had FrontStreetFella on today. Next week is the return of Cozy Conchili. And then the week after that is the return of Tantan Tater. So you guys are in for a Mighty Mango Mate mashup.
Yeah.
Can't wait. These guys are the bestest, and we love them dearly. Just
much.
like you said earlier, I think it was before we started streaming, Druid, you were telling Front Street how blessed you feel that we met them. And I agree. We found them, and I'm super happy about that. So... with that, be on the lookout next week, 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. You ready to wrap this up, Druid?
Yeah, buddy.
All righty. Thank you for coming to the show.
Please drop a like, subscribe, and comment down below.
If you're listening to the podcast,
please rate and review the episode.
We are Bandwidth
and Banter.
Thank you.
And good night. Good